German was able to get hold of the ball and then cross it. Dan Rose would have gotten close to him with his pace and snuffed it out. So he worked well then, and he was able to still stay close to Cahill and Smalling to prevent any attacks that was coming down through the midstream. And so that was a good tactics. And I hope it's I hope he isn't a one trick pony. He'll be able to, um, in my opinion, vary his game and snuff out any type of player with any type of style. So for me, he makes the team is a starter if you ask me, even ahead of Barnes. And then you have Cahill, and for me, I would pair him up with Stones. Now the reason is Stones is a very clever and skillful player. So it'll be nice to have two players who are intelligent players who understand each other. And I saw them play. I can't remember one of the qualifiers where Cahill and Stones were paired, and they really did a very good job. Um, Stones has the height, and his positional sense is fantastic. Um, Skillful wise, both of them are good, and therefore you need that at this level of of football. Uh, Ahead of obviously Smallings, who did a very good job yesterday, no doubt. Because for me, Smallings makes positional mistakes, and sometimes in high tense matches, it could be the difference between winning a game and losing it. For me, he makes the team, he makes a squad, but I'll put I'll put Stones and Cahill ahead of him. Even Jagalka is another person who makes positional mistakes sometimes, and therefore the two of them will go. Smallings will go. Jagalka will go, in my opinion. But they will deputize for Stones and Cahill. Now on the other flank, you have Klein, who was fantastic yesterday. I admire his ability because he's strong. He has good ball control, and he goes forward well, and therefore he's the ideal person to be in that position. You don't want on either flanks a defender who is not strong on the ball, because they can be barged off the ball and lose position, and that will become a dangerous threat to the England defense. And so he's able to hold on to the ball with his strength, and that is crucial. So for me, I won't even consider any other person in that position ahead of him. You go straight to the next position, which would be the defensive midfielder. And as I said before, and I've said it so many times, that position is a position in modern football that is one of the most important, crucial ones, because you have somebody who has to snuff out threats and buffer the defense and prevent the defense from being attacked again and again and again. And Dyer did a very good job yesterday. He was able to anticipate position threats. He passed the ball once he got hold of it, made himself available when the defenders were needing a place to pass the ball, because the Germans, and in modern day football, that is the trend. The attackers close down once you get the ball from the goalkeeper as a defender. The attackers close you down and put pressure on you. So you need your midfielder, your defensive midfielder, to find space immediately, so that the defenders can find somebody to pass the ball to, and that was crucial. So for me, he starts. You can find someone like Carrick as a deputy for him. Carrick has a lot of experience, so you need that as in the squad in France, and he does the job, the same job, but not as defensively strong as Dyer. So Dyer for me would be ahead of Carrick. You move forward to the attacking and central midfielders, and that is a bit more difficult because there are a lot of players there to make choices from. Barkley Welcott, um, Henderson, um, Rooney, Welberg. The list goes on. Lanana, and so Hodgson will have a lot on his plate to decide who makes the first 11. That's the first thing. Secondly, who makes the team, because there are so many people. Lennon on the bench, even probably what's his name, Cleverly could possibly make the squad. But for me, that particular position, I liked the way Weberg played. I don't know about his fitness, but for me, he makes the squad and probably makes first 11 for me, because he has a little bit about him that can confuse opponents. Doesn't matter what class it is. For me, he makes that team. But what I worry about is his fitness. Um, Lalana is a very talented and skillful player, but to me, he doesn't have the body strength. He's budged up very easily, and he needs to be quick, which he is, to do his job well and to perform his tricks. But I don't think that will work with a lot of teams nowadays. A lot of teams find a way to be physical as well as skillful, and unfortunately for Lalana, I don't think he has that body structure. So maybe Hudson will try to use him in games that he knows he'll not be bullied. Um, and so for me, he makes the squad, but I don't know how much I would want him making the first 11 every match, because he has that weakness, and how he can compensate for it, I'm not sure. You're either a very strong player like Klein is, or you're not. Um, and so that's my worry for him. But in the box, he has the intelligence that sometimes can open up a defense, and so Hudson has to find that balance and find out exactly which matches where he needs to play him and where he doesn't need to play him. I'm gonna rush a little bit, because I need time is not really much on my side when it comes to the video tape. So up front, Ali did a fantastic job. He, for me, and to a lot of people who watched the game yesterday and have been following his progress at Tottenham, understand that he has that physicality, which sometimes goes over the edge, which will be a problem. They need to sort that out. But he also has the skill and composure on the ball that is necessary at this level, and therefore for me, it is a toss of a coin. In as much as you have uh, Barkley and Rooney in that position, just behind the central striker, um, those three would be vying for that position. And Rooney has a lot of experience. The only problem I have with Rooney is that sometimes he does miss glaring chances, and you would wonder whether unless he gets that sharpness that he needs. I remember the Rooney that Graced came onto the scene. He was two-footed until he had that injury, and nobody has noticed it. He became more dependent on his right foot, and that to me has cost him the ability to be probably one of the best players in the world at the moment. So at the moment, Ali would make that position for me, and the reason is because he combines well with most of the players in those positions. Sterling didn't play yesterday, so that's another player that would have to be considered in those three front players. I don't envy Hudson in making that choice, but for me, first and foremost, he needs to find a way to accommodate these three players: Rooney, Ali, and Welbeck. However he places them, that's another question. So maybe thinking about it now, Rooney stays in the middle, Ali stays on the right, Welbeck stays on the left, or you move Ali and Welbeck has shifted. But there's a number of players in there that he can play, move around and see what work for which each match. Um, but starting off 11, I think I would like Ali to be in it. I like Welbeck to be in it, and I like Rooney for his experience to be in it. So that's there. Then you have up front. You have Kane. You have some uh, interesting choices to make um, up front there. So it is a very difficult choice to make when you have Vardy up front, scoring the kind of goal he scored yesterday and showing the composure that is needed at this level. As I said somewhere, that Kane's movement needs to be reassessed because yesterday when I was watching him, most of the time he was close to the ball but was not making himself available in open spaces. So basically, he was close to most German defenders and opponents, and that works well for his kind of play game when he's in the box because he can still wriggle and shoot. He has the strength, body strength to do that. But when he's away from a little bit distant from the post, and trying to make the play and help the play move along, it seems redundant. It seems his shortcomings start to show, and that's why for first 45 minutes there wasn't much of a chance, a lot of created chances for him. It's because of the way he plays his pace. Football now, in modern football, needs people who can run really fast, and sometimes he seems like he can run fast, but it doesn't seem like he can run fast in other times, and so it's a frustration. You have someone that can shoot, someone that is intelligent with the ball, and yet the chances don't come because I think, from my experience, my understanding is that he doesn't make himself available in open spaces, and he probably doesn't do that because he doesn't want to uh, outpace his opponents. He rather have the ball, move on to 2 steps or 3 steps, and then shoots. So that's a different kind of player from Vardy. Vardy is ready to run down your opponent, and therefore, if I am to make a choice, I would say a system whereby you accommodate both of them because the two of them are little when it comes to scoring goals, and keeping out Vardy or Kane would be a serious shortcoming to the team. If there's a way they can accommodate the two of them as up front strikers, I'm not too keen on sticking to this one striker up front because it helps the team defend well, but it makes attack a little bit short of what it should actually be, and therefore those two players need to be accommodated up front somehow, maybe in kind of 4-4-2 system, especially when you're playing against a lower position, um, that you don't need to defend that much. So you put the two of them up front. But if you have to go with one player up front, from what happened yesterday, I will be going with Vardy, and that is the case. Yesterday showed that the England squad really have what it takes to do well in France, and even much more than most people will expect in the future. Um, as I said, the only